Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to our next episode of Yoga Chat. I am Jessie Amatrano with my wonderful co-host,
CeeCee Detroit. Hi, everyone.
And today we have two of my favorite people ever in the yoga community. And I do say that a lot, but everybody comes on, but these two women to me are so admirable in the way that they have handled yoga in industry, in business throughout the years. They're coming to us from Miami, and they own Agni Hot Yoga in Miami, where they specialize in, or I say specialize, but I'll let you guys say that. That's just my point of view. In the Hot 26, they're just their original background, but yet have become so diverse and have such a broad range of yoga offerings that I wanted to be able to have you guys come on, you ladies come on today, because it is, I think, so impactful for us as women in business, as now we're being, entrepreneurs. There's no playbook for what is happening in our community, in our industry, and the way businesses are handling themselves right now. So I'm going to hand it over to Carrie and Vivi so that they can tell you a little bit about themselves, because it's not just hot yoga, regular, I said that again twice.
It's
regular yoga. That's twice I did that. Hot yoga, non-hot yoga, Reiki. You guys do sound healings. You guys are involved with Buddha yoga. You guys do HIIT classes. Like, you guys, you've got the spectrum of diversity, which is so admirable, on all different kinds of levels, from yogic levels of being acceptance to business entrepreneurship, and you have a juice bar in your studio right in the lobby. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. So I'm going to hand it over to you ladies to tell us a little bit more about yourselves so that our listeners know who you are and where you came from.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. You've kind of said a lot there.
And you made me even more passionate about what we do. It's like,
right?
All of that. That's so true.
Yeah, right? It is, isn't it? Yeah.
We're in our 8th year in Miami. We originally opened up as Bikram Yoga Central Miami.
This is Carrie.
Oh yeah. And besides being business partners, we're also married.
Yay.
And we're best friends, and we're pretty much attached at the hip. COVID has really challenged us more than ever.
Not just in the business.
Right, not just in the business, even personally. It's like we were together all the time, but now like another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in our 8th year, going strong. As a small business, we've always had to adapt and change and grow. And then with COVID, from one day to the next, we're doing it again. We're having to adapt and change. And we, community and connection has always been something that we wanted to grow the studio on. So we started off with Bikram, and then we grew from there. But what we're really focusing on now is, like, how can we keep the community connected and keep people committed to their practice, and without the actual physical space to go through.
And also, like, how can we bring a little bit of normalcy to people's life? Because with all this, it's like people, they were in a routine, like either a yoga class or a HIIT class, whatever it was, they had a routine, and somehow, it's like, okay, now we have to stop. But we do need to have a routine too. Like, I see more people working out now more than even before. And that's a beautiful thing. So the evolution that is happening with people's practice, even our own practice, is just unfolding in a very beautiful way. And we're very lucky that we can be a space providers for, at least a percentage of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. So how, it's so funny that you say that, because it is true that we are seeing so many people now moving more, even if it's a walk, you're seeing family bike rides, family walks, whatever it is.
And it's so funny that the body still actually craves movement because you're not getting up and you're not getting dressed and going to work and doing your normal thing. And then they're finding their movement there. But for you, it's very unique too, because you not only have this wide genre of classes, you're offering hot, you offer not hot, you offer cardio stuff, sound healing, and then on top of it, you have a juice bar, which is the same kind of situation that Jessie and I have, because we have a juice kitchen as well. And so now you don't have one business that's affected right now. Now you have two entities in one building that are being affected. Are you doing any of the juice as a carryout, or are you sticking to just okay?
We actually just had a smoothie bar, so it hasn't actually been juices. And I mean, one of the things we were kind of brainstorming about, if people wanted to get together and do like some type of like cleanse where like we get a group and we commit to doing something with food and smoothies and juices and connect maybe through a Zoom meeting or something. So we're just like brainstorming all different types of ideas to keep people connected and committed to doing something together, and then also having some accountability. So that's something we've thought about and we've thrown it out and people are interested in it. But yeah, we haven't done anything yet with the juices.
I think now it's a matter of time and energy. It's like we have been doing all the classes. Like so far, it's like, we have one teacher now that is helping us a little bit with some of the yoga classes, but our bodies have been exposed since we closed our doors in March 16, every single day until last Saturday was the first time we were able to like take a whole day off. And that was pretty amazing, and noticing that the body still need to move, it was like, okay, let's just sit in the couch and just relax for a minute. And I know a lot of people are feeling that way too.
Tell everybody some of the things that you guys have been doing within the business to keep people connected. Like you guys chose to do Facebook, right? Instead of the Zoom classes.
We do both.
You do both.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Why? A lot of our members have canceled in this process because they have to. Either they can't afford or whatever it is. Some of our members have kept their membership. So for us, it's really important to keep a schedule for them. And because we have some classes that are like with music and that are like more high intensity, and even vinyasa with music. The Facebook and the Instagram is nice because the sound is better. Yeah. With the Zoom classes, it's a little more challenging to do the music and the sound. It gets broken up. And so we use both formats. The nice thing about Zoom is you get to see people, you get to connect with them, you see their bodies, you can make corrections. And then for Facebook particularly, the classes are there. So if people can't do live classes, then they can go on our Facebook page. They can retake anytime they want. Same thing with Instagram. It's there for 24 hours. So we're trying to get people to be able to access us at any time during the day, but also to have that face-to-face connection. And then we're doing, like, if you can keep your membership active, thank you so much. If you can't, still take classes with us. Donate what you can. If you can't donate, maybe just share it on Facebook and show us that you're interacting. So we're just trying to find as many ways possible for us to stay alive as a studio, so that when we are able to come back, that there's a place for people to go back to. And then also for people who maybe can't afford during this time, or for whatever reason, that they can also still be a part of. And we're trying to make that clear.
And also for people to get to know who Agni is. I mean, Agni Miami has a beautiful community, but there's a lot of people that never had stepped, their foot into our doors. And I think that's what Facebook and Instagram is giving us, the opportunity for us to be known by other people that never done it before. We have people from New York taking classes with us. Yeah. It's like, how beautiful is that we have crossed, even like that part of like, the restrictions that we have in our heads. In what
Yeah.
we do.
Jess and I were just saying that, it's a beautiful thing because now you're getting people that even maybe were a little bit too intimidated to walk into the door because, nobody likes to feel like the new guy. So now you have people who are less intimidated, way more willing. They don't have to show their face if they don't want to. And they have the comfort of their own home to be able to kind of figure out where their body lies in a yoga practice and almost get to try a bunch of stuff in their comfort of their own home and figure out what they do like and what their body likes and stuff like that. And you're like you just said, your outreach is so much bigger, which is really cool because not only have you taken now your community in Miami and Florida, but now we're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and making that community more of like a unified community of yoga.
Right, exactly. And now we're trying to connect with our teachers and get some of our teachers to teach some of the classes. The longer this goes on, we're learning along the way.
Yeah.
From one day to the next, we had to close our doors. We had rent, we had bills. Pretty much, for the most part, operating month to month. It's not like we had all this money in the bank for us to carry over for a long time. Something that happened recently, which we're so incredibly grateful for, is our landlord gave us 2 months to not pay rent. And that was like almost like hitting the lottery.
Yeah.
And so now
without having to pay it back at any point. So which is even more amazing.
Oh,
we can breathe a little bit, and we're now going to try to figure out what we can do next.
Build on it. Yeah.
Is new.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the government has, we have applied to, whatever we have been able to apply, but so far, nothing yet.
And I'm glad that you shared that. I didn't want to, pry on much, but we've gotten nothing either.
In the yoga community, one of the biggest struggle we have, that every teacher that we have is a contractor.
Yeah.
It's like, so how we have wages for people when we don't have it?
Yeah, CCs are, right? So yeah, and we the PPP that I applied for will give me the forgivable amount will only give me half of 1 month's rent.
I know, it's nothing. It's really nothing.
It's the EID I filled out 3 times and got nothing.
We haven't gotten a response on that either.
I didn't know, well, to my own, whatever, but I was filing for unemployment in Florida, but should have been filing unemployment in New Jersey. So I missed 3 weeks, which we haven't gotten anything back from either one anyway. So it doesn't.
We haven't gotten that.
Yeah. I mean, it took us how long just to get through to the website in Florida, right? And that was the whole thing. And I'm like, I should have was in the wrong state.
Right.
Like, this is a mess.
I mean, with the rent, it helps a lot. It still
so
doesn't
much.
mean that we can relax because we still need to hustle to make.
Yeah. And that was one of the biggest things that, that we've been talking about is that, like, and I said it to Chrissy and we just said it in the last chat, but it's like, we're next week are celebrating our 10-year anniversary.
Wow. Congratulations.
And I said to Chrissy, I'm like, we did not come. We did not scrape and claw and work and teach 24 classes a week and, work 15, 16-hour days from juicing to sun up to sun down to go down like this. We're not. This is not what's going to bring it down.
Our blaze of glory going down would have been much bigger than this. It's not happening.
But we don't have a landlord that'll work with us. So that's like my, once it runs out, it runs out. So, we're doing the same things. How can we adapt? How can we be diverse? And I do think the good thing about this is that it is getting people comfortable with an online setting that they wouldn't have been comfortable with before.
Yeah.
And
one of the things is like with online, it's like almost like the world is your oyster and there's so much possibility. And then there's this other side of me that like, that's not what I want to be doing. Like maybe yes, but like also my heart is really in the studio and hugging people and being in group classes and that energy. So it's like, it's this constant back and forth of like,
Yeah.
what do we really want to create now? Like, where do we really want to see our lives? And also with a lot of uncertainty in that space, it's just.
Yeah. I think for like, for me personally, it allows me to contribute from far, like after all this is done, I think we're going to create a whole online, add-on where there's no reason why they can't take a yin online. There's no reason why they can't do a flow online. So we're going to create a whole add-on. You got your auto pay, and then you've got another, pick $29 to get access to a whole other online schedule. But then it allows me to contribute from far away.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a different way that's just not a website or payroll or marketing. It allows me to contribute to the studio in a way that's like there.
Absolutely. And I think having both of those options after this all, I don't know, ends or whatever. But one of our students travels a lot. And so he's like, this will be great if you guys can keep doing this when we're back in the studio, because then when I'm traveling, I can still be connected to you guys and still have
the crazy
access.
Thing is, like, we were talking about building a platform within our page to allow these online, classes to happen even before COVID. So for us, it's like, okay, this is just kicking us in our butt and get the fire in the ass and do what you say for so long that you needed to do. So
that's exactly. As soon as it happened, Jess and I were talking, and it was funny because she said, are we that powerful that we just created space and time to work on an idea we've had for months now? And I'm like, that's some pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, right.
This is everybody.
You're the powerful.
The universe is like, you wanted it?
I mean, how many times we have said, I need more time, or I don't have the time to do that. And now we have all the time in the world, and it's like, okay, now what is it that you're doing with this time?
Exactly.
I keep telling people that, like, it's like, now what are you going to do with this time? And we were talking about it yesterday. This is coming up in this moment, not just for the universe, but for our lives. Like, what do we need to see now? Why do we need to stop so radically and say, okay, now we need to look at everything that we have in our table and see if we really want to keep doing that, or make the changes that they're going to allow us to evolve individually and as a business? What do we need to do now?
Yeah, I think it's definitely stripping away anything that either wasn't working for people or was just not authentic. And I don't mean that in a good, bad sense. It's just like maybe there was, things that people were doing and they were repetitively doing because they didn't know any other way or how to get out of it or what to do. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, here you go. They just worked that right out for you. So I think that, like, it's important. A few things. It's like everybody's situation is so diverse and everybody's experiencing this so differently that there is really no right or wrong to however people are handling it, or however, it's appearing for people, or whatever their emotions are, so I think it's really important that, we have compassion for people in their situations. And I'm sure you guys have had plenty of people reaching out to you. And like, what are some of the things that they're going through when you're talking to them?
Well, I think pretty much it's like people are missing the connection. They're really missing the physical connection and the hugs and the energy. I'm getting that from our teachers and from our students. And quite honestly, we have to ride some of that out, but we also I think we have to be willing to do the next best thing. Mm-hmm. And for me, I would like to see more of our community come onto our Zoom classes and give it a try. Some people might think like, oh, you can't do it without the heat or, but it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be. Like, adjust, change, do something different.
And we live in Miami. It's so freaking hot outside.
Go outside. Go outside. Just go in the sun, put your beats on, and you're good.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, it's interesting because you guys have such a hot community, whereas some of the other girls, they're like, their community is a little bit more mixed. Like Cindy's definitely got that mix of like hot and non-hot. And we were just talking to Nicole from North Jersey. She's got hot and non-hot. Crystal's got hot and non-hot. But like, we're hot people. And, and it's like, you take that away from our people, and our people are like,
I can do it without it. Yeah.
I'll see you when I come back.
We're having a lot of people that say that, I'm sorry, but I cannot do the classes online, and that is not the same. I need the heat.
Yeah. And I think it's, a few things. Like, one thing for me is I'm like, I love them so much that they love the heat, right? Because then that means when the heat's on, they're going to come back and pay for it. So yay.
Right.
But there is definitely that breaking that barrier, that the yoga is just not the heat. Body might freak out for a day or two, but once it gets used to doing it just regularly as it is, it almost becomes a more like authentic version, because you're not relying on the heat to get you anywhere. It's just you, man. It just strips it all away, like one more layer.
And sometimes less is more. It might not necessarily be what you want, but doing the practice without the 105 degrees, it's another level of awareness. It's a different way to practice. I don't go as deep. I find I get a different benefit. It's not, I don't think it's better or worse. I think it's just different.
Yeah.
And we have to be willing to do things differently.
I mean, the people, I have found myself doing a Bikram class with no heat, and I'm sweating as much as if the heat was on. But it's like my own mentality of like, I'm going to just do it. It's like, why not? So I think these allow us just to step out of our box and think differently and take things differently. So I'm welcome.
We have said this a lot of times that, when we decided to do the Zoom classes, after the first or second class that I taught, I said to Jessie, this is way more about, body awareness. And just allowing them to just really like feel their body in a posture and take the whole depth perception out of what we're doing and just move with the asana and allow that, you're not worried about the depth. A lot of us don't even have mirrors. So really you're just feeling it in your body and kind of using it as a moving meditation. Now, when you guys teach with online with the hot class, are you finding that you have to shift the words around a little bit too? Like, are you teaching different? Because I know I have a totally different language teaching here than I do when I'm in there moving around the room with 20, 30 people.
Yeah.
Right. The first class that I did without the heat was on Facebook and Instagram. Vivi was teaching. And so I was trying to do well. And I went too far, and I noticed like I had back pain after the class. So I know now, like, especially if you're doing specifically a Bikram class, which is like, we're used to the heat, I will tell my students, like, back off. You don't go too far. It's not worth it. Just practice differently. And I'm finding that's important. But the other classes, like the HIIT and vinyasa, to the extent, it's pretty much the same. Actually, with like HIIT, because we don't have heat, doing more cardio and getting the heart rate up. HIIT in the heat, you have to dial it down a little bit. So it's like you said, it's just different level of awareness that almost happens in the moment. You adjust the exercises that you're doing, the flow, the language, the intensity. And it's, it's actually quite beautiful. And right now I'm okay without the heat. It's just where I'm at right now. But Vivi misses it.
I feel like I get more sore now than before.
Oh, yeah.
So I struggle a little more to get, especially in some of the classes, definitely. But I've been sweating, in every class I have taken, no matter if it's yoga or heat or booty, even sound bath. It's like once you're teaching and you're demonstrating and you're showing and all that stuff, you take it to a whole nother level. So it's like, and I think this is happening with the practice too. We are evolving in the practice. We are allowing the students to evolve in the practice because there's no heat. because there's no mirrors, how you said. So we have to just switch our entire practice, and that's the beautiful thing about yoga, is the evolution. You know, how much have we grown since we took our first class and we fell in love with this heated practice, and now we don't have that aspect. We don't have the heat, but we're still in love with the practice because our body love to move. So I think it's just, you know, it's evolution. Everything is.
I think that's the most like impactful word I think that anybody has used yet on our chat. It's like evolve. You know, however we say it, like as yogis, we are, you know, evolving and we're adaptable. And, you know, we've had a lot of other, like Cindy said it, Nicole just said it, where it's like, you know, we're yogis and this is almost what we train for. This is what we work for, right? Is especially as owners of studios and people who are almost guiding other people to be able to just do it. But us on like a different level, no better, no worse. It's just, we have been training for that. Like, how are we going to adapt? How are we going to keep yoga on the forefront of people's minds and not let it just slip away? You know, not just in this setting, but, you know, before even this, we were all like, how do we get new people in our class? How do we, you know, target the people who are shopping at ShopRite? How do we get people who are, you know, just how do we get them to come to a yoga class?
Yeah.
Right? And I think that it's just, you know, allowing the online setting is allowing for people to get comfortable with it, because we have so many, especially in the Bikram community or the Hot 26 community, that are like, no, it's either this or nothing.
Right.
You know, so it's almost forcing them, you know, to kind of be like, oh, maybe I can just log on and see.
Exactly. I think there's something really huge there for people who really need to be in the studio and really need to be in the heat, but to be so committed to yourself that you start doing it at home. I think for people who are willing to take that leap and try it, there can be a tremendous amount of growth, because it's different to go to a studio with a group of people and practice than it is to like be at home and keep doing your practice.
Yeah. And I think that your students are in a great position because you guys are so diverse and you guys do offer so much. So you guys are like, have, to me, in my opinion, have like everything right there from, you know, are you guys still doing like the Reiki stuff, the circles and those types of things, or have you held on those?
We're working putting together.
To do a Reiki circle, a virtual
circle.
one.
Yeah. A virtual one.
We're doing Yoga Nidra and the sound bath and
and that's it, from Yoga Nidra to sound baths to, you know, Reiki circles to the Hot 26, like I said, vinyasa, to the more cardio with the hit and or the booty. I mean, you guys have so much at one shop that it's like, I feel like if we could communicate a way for people to put the pieces of the puzzle together, they can get it all from what we have, if they're willing to back away from that one element.
Right.
One thing. It's going to keep us away from all that. There's one little thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I had a student say to me one time, because, you know, Jess and I, when we teach, both of us kind of use, you know, find the comfort in your uncomfortability, like within the room. And I had a student come out of class and said to me, you know, a comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. And he said, and every time you say find the comfort in your uncomfortability, it makes me think of that. And how uncomfortable do we need to get right now, you know, to really find the growth in our practice? We are all thrown into it and you have no choice. You either do it or, you know, you don't. And it's nice to see that more people are choosing to just give it the try and see where it lands.
And this is where the yoga starts, right? When you're uncomfortable.
Exactly right.
It begins when you want to come out. Like when you're at that edge of like, oh, I don't want to do it. That's when you got to.
Yeah. And I think this is like also leading that avenue of all the other things that we talk about and making it a hair more mainstream, like meditation. Like all of these things have been around for a lot of years.
Yeah.
This isn't just stuff that we're like fatting and creating and just being like, hey, try this. Like people have done this for a long time, before technology, before this, before that. Like this is what people used to help facilitate their wellness. And techniques like meditation, as much as there's an industry that tries to keep it, mainstream, it's not. People are very intimidated by it. They think they have to reach a certain place, and people don't like to sit and clear their mind, so there's like so many almost barriers that we can break through with just the situation that we're in. And we're like, no, there's no right or wrong. Try it. It's a lot of people have done it for a long time. Might be okay.
Exactly. Even it's 5 minutes, 2 minutes.
Yeah. Anything, the meditation or sound baths and sound healing. Like there are so many different ways that people can get things without having to be physically exerting themselves. Right. Although we like the physical exertion because it prepares us for that, right? So if we're physically move it out, then we can sit there a little bit easier, so we're not so in our own head. So I think that's interesting that you guys must have a ton of people reaching out to you, like with all different types of situations, from isolation to loss of income. Like, I mean, you guys are really in the thick of Miami. You guys are like in the throw of it. So if I can explain where Carrie and Vivi are, if you guys know Miami or don't know Miami, they're like almost right by Wynwood, right?
Right.
Yeah. So if you think of like downtown Miami, and I can only explain this now because that's where Brent just lived. And so I was like right there with you guys for a little bit until I moved. But it's like downtown Miami, and then there's Wynwood, where if you guys are listening, it's where all of the art is. So it's where like the big buildings are, and they spray the murals, and the food is fantastic. The art is fantastic. It's a very progressive, hip, modern little pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like a hip. So you guys, are in the thick of the city in Miami. So, and you see so many different, walks of life coming through the door, that you must have people reaching out to you and all kinds of stuff going on.
Well, yeah, I think it's probably somewhat similar as it is in most places. Some people are still working and they're fine, and other people, they're struggling. So,
has it slowed down much down there? Because I know up here where I am, like I'm in Wellington now, and people are still like out and bebopping. Like people are still.
We have traffic going to the studio.
Out, yeah.
We are lucky that we could go to the studio to teach the classes from there, but there's traffic, and we wonder, like, how is this possible?
Yeah,
it's everybody's time. It's like things are closed unless they're not closed. There's still a lot.
Well, New Jersey is like a ghost town.
Really?
I can get to on a normal day, it would take me about between 15 and 20 minutes with traffic to get from my house to the school. And since this happened in New Jersey on March 18th, we closed, but they didn't really do any required closings until like the 20th, I think, or the 21st. Mm-hmm. It now I can get to the yoga studio in 8 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a ghost town. We have to wait in line to get into stores. Like Jersey's getting in line.
We have that too at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And
Publix.
Yeah. Jersey's getting pummeled. We thought Miami was going to get pummeled for a second, but it looks like they're staying steady, because Miami was about to get crushed. And I was like,
one of the things we're even thinking of, I don't know if you guys talked about this at all, but it looks like gyms might be in phase 1 of reopening. So we're thinking maybe we could even have classes in the park outside, because there's still that concern of like being
that's a great idea.
Places. So we're thinking of different ways to, adjust and keep people connected and have options.
Yeah, see, you guys are smart. Everybody who's listening to this, who goes to Carrie and Vivi's school, they're smart. Just keep going. I mean, you're in good hands. I mean,
it's nice because it's summer here year round, so we can be outside. But we're getting into summer too, so it might be an option for all of the studios to have classes in the park.
Yeah. I think that, you guys you're smart, and, watch what's happening, and you're handling it as hard as it is. How are you guys, like, personally? Are you guys, like, hanging in? It's tough for
It's tough. It is tough. It's nice because we are going to the studio and we're practicing and we're moving, but there still is a little sense of like cabin fever and really wanting to be with people and have community.
I mean, we're lucky, how I said before, we live in a house. We just went for a bike ride, and that was really nice. A lot of people don't have that opportunity in Miami because we live in a building.
High right.
So I don't know, but the struggle is still there. It's like, what do I do with all this time? And we both are teaching so much that we're constantly like making playlists, preparing for the class, and then it's like a week passed by and we didn't really do as much as we thought that we wanted to. So it's like we're week 7 and we're like, wow, we just teach every single day. So it's like we just wanted to disconnect sometimes and take care of things. But
I think it's kind of better to stay busy than to like be bored. Like we haven't had that experience of like boredness and we don't know what to do with ourselves. But then we also think that, well, maybe I speak for myself personally, how can I slow down too? Because I haven't really been slowing down that much. And like, what is the lesson here? So it's like.
Well, that's because you're in a position of feeling like Seva. You're in contribution. So these are the times where the people are like, I gotta be there.
Yes, gotta show up. We gotta provide space. We gotta be there for the people. And when somebody says, I went and took your class and thank you so much for me, that keeps me going.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That we're making space for people to stay sane. And then it's also like, how can we stay sane? And I'm on that,
it's a balance.
And taking a bike ride, whatever it is, whatever you can do to connect with yourself.
But that's what we usually do, right? Either we're open for business or not. We have to find a balance in between a busy life and, how to take care of ourselves, how to recharge and all that stuff.
Totally.
Yeah. So what are some of your top tips for people to tell them, like, this is kind of what we do to keep ourselves going? And, I think sometimes when I ask this, I'm like, oh, that was a really good idea. Like, I'm expecting almost people say same stuff, but everybody comes with like great advice. So what are the types of things that you're saying to people to kind of help them hold it together a little bit?
I think make a commitment to move your body and do a class, like whatever that is, if it's 5 days a week, if it's 2 days a week, if it's 1 day a week, like we're always doing yoga challenges, like just do something that's going to challenge you and keep you committed.
Yeah.
Also at the same time, it's like, I'm being acceptance that you don't have to move your body every single day. And it's okay to be in the couch all day watching TV. It's okay too. Like, how can you be in acceptance with where you are? And yes, take challenge, but do not kill yourself. It is time for you to slow down. And if you have the ability to do it, do so. If you could go for a walk, go for a walk. But if you cannot do it, just be in acceptance with that.
I think that's a great point. Self-care comes in so many different forms.
Yeah, exactly. That was actually my post this morning.
Was it?
On Instagram. I even wrote, we let the weather dictate us. Well, why get bummed that we can't go for a walk? Maybe this is the day you curl up on the sofa and you watch a movie that makes you feel good.
Yeah. Or binge watch Money Heist. That's not a It actually helped a lot to do that. I mean, don't do it every single day, all day. Watch yourself. But if it's going to like connect,
Yeah, balance. I think that's the biggest thing, balance, right? Self-care
Balance,
sometimes is be like, today I need to walk. Today I'm going to binge watch. Today I might have some wine. Today, so
5 extra minutes in the shower and just be there, let the water.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Exactly.
It takes on so many different forms. It goes back to there is really no right or wrong, and whatever people are doing to honor themselves. I think for myself, I just want to see people not get too much on one side, and then they're off kilter.
Right.
So
if you're waking up and you're on social media and you're going to bed and you're on social media, then that gets tough. So watch that kind of stuff. And I'm speaking for myself too, because now there's like an overload of people on social media, and there's so many people that I'm like interested in what they're doing, and I could take a class with that person. So it can be overwhelming. So you got to like balance.
It's
back to balance, do different things.
It's all balance, and at some point we will start to make our way to a new normal. The new normal, whatever that looks like. And I think if not just us, I mean, at this point, I think I'm speaking to the bigger crowd, is that if we are open to a new normal coming in, there are all the different possibilities of what could come up. We don't even know how it could play a positive contribution in our lives, rather than mourning, so much of what's not there, Yeah. Well, you ladies are absolutely fantastic. And anytime.
You are.
Thank you guys for doing that. I think
anytime.
Thank you so much for coming on and giving us a little bit of the time to just, let us pick your brain and find out what's going on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you guys need anything from either one of us, at any point, you can always reach out. I mean, you guys definitely have your shit together, which is super cool. And it's admirable on all different levels. So, much love and respect to both of you for all of your years of yoga contribution, and for what you do for communities and how you hold people together on all kinds of different levels. I think it makes me like, you guys do good stuff. I know, right? I'm like, oh, we won't do it. So we will be sure to link in the description below both Carrie and Vivi's actual IG handle, so that you can contact both of them either directly, personally. We'll also link the studio, which is Agni, and that is in Miami. It's in central Miami. If you guys are either traveling once this gets passed, they're a great yoga resource for hot yoga, all things yoga. And, I'm sure they're happy for if you ever needed to get in touch with them personally. They're just those type of light workers.
And on a side note, just so you ladies know, anytime someone tells me they're going to Miami, I send them to you.
Oh, thank you. It means
always. Yeah, we do.
Always. Always.
I'm like, Carrie and Vivi, it's real easy to get to, right down the thing, 1095, you're good.
The airport.
Here's their website. Bing. That's exactly what we do.
I hope you can come down sometime. Yes.
Oh, I would love that. That would be amazing.
Yeah. We had scheduled.
We actually had a trip planned,
but
and
last weekend
to be there.
Wow.
Actually, I would have been leaving tonight. Tonight I would have been leaving. So yeah, I was supposed to hang out with my bestie for 4 or 5 days.
We're going to do a yoga crawl.
We're definitely going to figure out how to get it done, because we're both jonesing to be together, because we were supposed to have seen each other at least 5 times by now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Miami's a great city. We are in love with Miami, and we're committed to this community. So
I love it.
If you haven't been to Miami, put it on your to-do list.
Totally.
Yeah. Absolutely. So thank you so much for watching or listening. If you guys are on Spotify and or iTunes, then please be sure to subscribe below. We have a lot of different options and yoga chats now being available, and I'm sure this probably won't be the first time I ask you to come on. Maybe next time we'll talk about fun Reiki stuff, because that's kind of that's what I like to pick your two brains about. But so please be sure to subscribe below. I'll put their handles. I'll put all of their contact information in the description, so then that way you guys can get in touch with them. If you are somebody who frequents and regulars Agni in Miami, then bless you, you guys are in fantastic hands. And for those people in New Jersey, it just is a bigger connection for all of us to let us know all yoga communities are kind of going through the same thing right now. And all we want to do is keep people connected, let them know that everything is already inside of you, that you really don't need to look somewhere else. But if you do, we're here to guide the way. Okay.
Oh,
So
that's beautiful.
Thanks so much. And
Thank you so much.
we'll chat soon. Namaste.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.